Good afternoon, friends and haters alike. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I apologize for being dark for so long, like just not really being very active on here. I've been busy with a lot of things that have been going on in my personal life, which you'll hear about throughout this update. And there's also a really big thing that happened recently that I'm going to do my best to explain and go in detail about. But if you guys are looking for the TLDR and you don't want to sit through the whole update video, not that I don't blame you, or not that I blame you, whatever the... Anyway, here's the TLDR for anybody that doesn't want to watch this all the way through. So, I've hinted in the past that I'm going to be leaving YouTube at some point. It's not happening this year. I feel like I should wait for all the other bigger YouTubers to leave before I decide to, just so it doesn't seem like I'm hopping on bandwagons or anything. But anyway, I'm not leaving YouTube entirely. I'm just not going to be focusing on this channel anymore after I wrap up SuperSmash3DS Revisited and after I finish the 100th episode. That's the big stuff I want to go over in this. But I also want to add, and I'm going to talk about this a little more too, I'm working on a bunch of videos all at once right now. I'm going to be trying my best to put out a lot of videos this year, and I'm going to be trying to put out really, really good videos before I decide to wrap things up. And I want to go into a little bit about why I'm stepping away from YouTube and the internet, and why I want to focus more on myself and where my interests are shifting. So this is going to be sort of a reflective update, but it's also going to be a look into the future. I don't want to make it seem sad or pathetic at all. That's why I waited so long to actually make this update video, because I wanted to be in a good headspace in order to really talk about this and not be of a certain mentality where I just come off more miserable and pathetic than I already am. No. But anyway, before all that, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the hacking situation. So a lot of you might have noticed that my channel got hacked recently, which, sad to say, is the second time that's happened to me since I made this channel. And I realized while coming up with notes for this update that I never really talked about the circumstances behind either of the hacking situations. So just to go into that a little bit. So the first time it happened was in December of 2022, and it was it was pretty stressful because I was working on my Christmas video that year. And it happened because I got this email from a scammer passing themselves off as a representative for the company that makes the Hollow Knight games. And the email was offering a sponsorship to play a beta or like a demo of the second Hollow Knight game. And at the time, I didn't realize this because I didn't really look at the email addresses of the people that sent me. Because I get these kinds of emails a lot. Not a lot, but I get them frequently. Actually, I do get the emails, but sorry, I'm going off topic. I don't plan on editing this audio that much, so I apologize if I stop and stammer a lot. But anyway, since I get those emails on a inconsistently regular basis, incredible oxymoron there, this didn't seem anything out of the ordinary for me, so I signed the contract-ish, whatever. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember that they sent me this file that was disguised, that was an exe application disguised as a PDF. So it had like a PDF icon, but it was an exe extension. And when I activated it, it allowed my information to get stolen, and my Google account was hacked into, and I lost access to some of my other Google accounts that were tied to it as like recovery emails or something. And because this has never happened to me before, I had no idea what to do. So my brother and I spent like 3 or 4 days like trying to get in touch with Google through phone calls and through Twitter DMs, which, funny enough, the latter actually ended up being more useful. So that was a pretty stressful period, and I feel especially bad for my brother because he had to do most of the heavy lifting since he's kind of my tech guy. But fortunately, we were able to get all those issues resolved. And actually, funny enough, there one Google account that was affected by it because I made it when I was like a teenager. I had no idea of like, I didn't think recovery emails were important. Keep in mind, I was like 12 or 13 when I made it. So I made the recovery email a fake email account that was attached, or that I came up with for a project that I was working on at the time. So the only way that we could recover that account was if we made like a Microsoft Outlook account or something with that email address, like a one-time thing. We had to make that custom email address so we can actually get the recovery information for the secondary Google account that I was trying to get back into. And it worked. So that was pretty crazy. And the second time that happened, the most recent one, was probably like March, or it was from a different scammer claiming to represent a company that was working on another game from a publisher that I knew. The difference being this time, the email address of the first hacker was completely unrelated to the project that they were offering me. So if I had paid attention to that, I probably would have avoided that first hack. But the second hack, I still felt a little stupid about it. There are signs that I should have picked up on earlier, but the email address that they had created for it was much more convincing this time. So I feel less stupid about it because it seemed much more legitimate to me. But when I was talking about signs that I should have picked up on early, the one that should have been the big giveaway for me was when they sent me the quote-unquote contract. The name of the head of the company that they had listed was somebody who had just recently left that company, like a couple months prior. And I think their excuse was like, oh, well, yeah, we have a new CEO, but we just didn't have this documentation was created when the other guy was still the head of the company, and we didn't have the time to update it or something like that. And that's the one moment actually where I felt a little stupid or a little gullible, just like, oh, okay, whatever. But yeah, that shouldn't have been a big giveaway. Fortunately, though, it didn't take us that long to get everything back. So, there's a motorcycle. So the first time this happened, because we had no idea what to do, it took us like 3 or 4 days. But this time it only took us roughly 24 hours because we knew this time that we had to go through Twitter to get in touch with Team YouTube. And it really shows flaws in YouTube and Google's security, where they don't have any good customer service. They don't have any phone numbers or any real customer service email addresses that you can get in contact with. They have no good way of actually getting in touch directly with them to get them to help you deal with your problem. So it just kind of sucks that the only reliable source of customer service from YouTube specifically is Twitter. And yes, that's what it's called. It's not called X. That's stupid, but I digress. So anyway, thankfully, like I said, it took us less or roughly 24 hours to get everything resolved. And because of that, to celebrate, I released a bunch of my previously YouTube member and Patreon exclusive videos publicly for everybody else to see. And actually, side note, when I released those videos, somebody had asked what really made them that special, or if I should have just released them publicly to begin with. Because I always figured, especially with the time lapses specifically, I guess I just figured that not all of my viewers or subscribers would really find that stuff interesting. So I guess I figured that I would make it Patreon and YouTube member exclusive just for the people that actually really do care about that process. So I'll pose that question to you guys. Should I release all of my video editing time lapses publicly? Would that be something that my non-Patreon supporters or non-YouTube members, like anybody that doesn't go the extra mile to support me in that way, would that be stuff that you would be interested in seeing? Let me know in the comments, so I'll take that into consideration. So yeah, that was the story of the times I got hacked. So I guess if I wanted to give before I go into the rest of the update, I guess if I can give any advice to other up-and-coming YouTubers about how to avoid issues like that, well, definitely pay attention to the email addresses. Like the first time it happened to me, if you see that the email address is completely unrelated to the topic of the email, or if the website attached to it is something unrelated, then that's a red flag. And also really pay attention to the documentation that they send you. Like, I should have just stopped the second time when I noticed the CEO wasn't currently at the company, that the name of the CEO that was listed on the document. So really look out for stuff like that. And also, if you give because I asked for the emails, the people sending me the emails asked me how much I would charge for the sponsorships, and I think the second time I listed like a really high price, like almost, it wasn't $1,000, but like somewhere between $500 and $1,000, and they didn't bat an eye at that. So I would take that as kind of another red flag. If there's like a slowness in their replies after you give them that high of a rate, or if they're too accepting of it, like they're okay with like $15,000 or whatever, that could also be a red flag. So that's definitely something to pay attention to. Also, security keys, physical security keys are extremely important. I haven't gotten mine yet. I'm just kind of taking things slow, and I'm regularly changing my passwords like every month or every couple months, like a month or two. So that's another thing. Get a security key, and certainly keep updating and changing your passwords every so often, so that it becomes a little more difficult for people to get in. And like obviously backup codes and stuff like that. Sorry, it's just, that was just really weird, and I still feel really stupid about it. But then again, I am pretty stupid anyway, so. All right, that's enough of the hacking. Let's actually talk about the stuff that really matters here. So I've hinted in the past that I intend to, at some point, step away from YouTube and the internet entirely. But for the record, even though a lot of other bigger YouTubers are doing that now, I don't plan on doing that right away. As tempting as it is, I promised myself that I would only stop making YouTube videos until after I finish my SuperSmash3DS Revisited series, and after I finish the 100th episode of the review show. So I'm not going anywhere for a while. I feel like I owe it to myself to actually get this done, because, you know, I have a history of starting projects and just never finishing them. So it would be nice to actually have some kind of closure this time. So yeah, and my goal mostly for this year is to keep working on videos and put out more videos. I know it doesn't seem like a lot is happening right now, but behind the scenes, a lot of stuff is actually really happening. Like at the moment, I think I have like 6 or 7 videos in the works. Most of it's like script writing and note taking. None of them are in the editing stages right now. But just to give you an idea of what's coming, the big one I'm focusing on right now is the SuperSmash3DS Revisited episode of Mario 64. And I've also got a big non-Mario related video in the works right now. But all the footage is recorded, by the way. I forgot to make mention of that. But the other videos, obviously, I'm going to talk about the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake, the Mario RPG remake, Princess Peach Showtime. I have the footage for all those games recorded. And obviously, I'm going to talk about Luigi's Mansion 2 when it comes out on the Switch. And I'm certainly going to make a video on the Thousand Year Door remake. I still can't believe that's actually happening. But yeah, there are a bunch of videos in the works right now. And I'm kind of thinking of just working on these videos all at once. And then when I have enough of a bulk of videos ready, I can just sort of put them out on a more consistent schedule. By the way, another thing I want to mention is I recently got my 3DS modded so that I can now record footage of 3DS games and also physical DS games, thanks to 3dscapture.com for setting me up with it. I would really recommend it. The guy that runs the site is pretty famous for his 3DS capture mods. But I would only recommend it if you're really serious about 3DS capture, because it's not cheap. To actually get the parts sent to you for you to install it yourself is like $120, but to actually send your 3DS out there for him to do it is like $200. And I'm not a tech guy. That's what I did. I spent a lot of money, but it's worth it. I've tested it and it works great. And I'm really excited to get some 3DS footage. I actually already got some footage for my Mario 64 episode, because in that video, I'm also talking about Mario 64 on the DS. Although most of that game was recorded on the Wii U, there was some footage I had to re-record because it got corrupted, and I ended up re-recording it using my physical copy on my 3DS. And yes, that does mean that there are going to be some other Mario games I'm going to get to at some point, whether I want to or not, but I don't want to get into that right now. It'll be too much of a spoiler. So, anyway, that's what's going on. A lot is going on, actually, and I know it doesn't seem like it because I went dark for a while, but trust me, there are still videos coming, and I'm going to do whatever I can to put out the best possible videos, because even though I'm kind of winding things down over here, I don't want to half-ass anything. Even though my heart isn't completely in this anymore, like at least my interests are shifting a bit, I still owe it to you guys and I owe it to myself to still put out quality videos. Like, not that my videos were ever good to begin with, from my perspective, but a lot of you still really seem to enjoy them, and I know there were a couple people I noticed in the comment section that, or at least one or two, that said they were a little sad that I'm ending my YouTube career, I guess, because they noticed that my videos have been getting better, which I'm really grateful for. I don't feel it, but if somebody out there feels that way, then that's really all that matters. So whether it's like 100 people or even just one person that thinks I'm putting out better videos, I owe it to myself to keep upping the quality of my content, even as I slowly get closer to the end. And actually, I just realized now, next year is going to be the 10th anniversary of the review show, so I'll definitely have to do like a really special episode for that. So yeah, and to make sure I don't burn myself out too much, I'm really only going to be focusing on videos that I absolutely want to make, and I know I'm going to put my heart into, and videos that maybe I've been wanting to do for so long but never got around to it until now. But the biggest struggle really is that as much as I still enjoy making these videos, it's my biggest struggle so far this year has been finding the motivation to work on them, and it's difficult for me to find it now because my interests have been shifting towards so many other things, and I've been focusing a lot more on aspects of my personal life. I don't want to get into too much detail about it, but basically, I got my learner's permit recently. Not recently, it was like a couple months ago. So I want to focus on getting my driver's license. I know I'm in my late 20s and I still don't have a license. Don't judge me. Judge me for other reasons, but not that. And my partner and I are looking into finding a place to live, like our own place, whether it's like a house or an apartment. So that's something we're working towards as well. And also a lot of opportunities have just been coming up for me. Mostly like side work, which I've been very, very excited about. And that's all stuff I want to pursue. And in terms of like personal projects, I want to get back into writing. I want to get into writing screenplays and musicals, TV shows. I'm even thinking about writing a book, like an autobiography on my life. It's something I really, really want to do. And I also want to get into music. And there's a lot of stuff I really want to get into. And not that these videos are kind of getting in the way of that, but to put things in perspective, for the past 9 years now, almost a decade, the only thing that's constantly been on my mind every waking second is what my next video is going to be about. I mean, obviously there are other things that I do in my life, but really these videos of the review show in general is the one thing that's constantly been on my mind for almost a decade now. And it, not to say like it's gotten in the way of me trying to do other things, but I feel like enough time has passed to where I need to kind of move away from this a little bit to focus more on those other things. And I knew that if I were to leave YouTube for any particular reason, I wanted it to be by my choice. And I didn't ever want to feel like I'm being forced out of it by any external forces or anything. Because I've been through a lot of difficult times in my life, but just by making these videos, because like even though it seems like I should have stopped or I should have stepped away, I really couldn't, because making these videos is all I really knew how to. Making these videos has been the only outlet where I could feel like I could utilize a lot, if not all of my talents. I could funnel them all into one place. And I'm the kind of person who just has to keep making stuff and has to keep occupying myself with something creative. Like I have to keep making videos or writing or drawing, or I have to keep doing all this stuff. Otherwise, if I'm not doing anything creative, then I just feel kind of powerless or useless. Like if I feel like I'm not really doing anything valuable. So working on these videos has really helped me get through a lot of difficult stuff. And even though I probably should have stopped a long time ago, I couldn't bring myself to do it because I didn't really have anything else to do. At the time I didn't have anywhere else to go. Obviously nowadays it's different because I have a quote unquote real job outside of this where I can actually make some stable income. But you know, it's a regular job, and not that it's a bad job. It's actually a very easy job, but making YouTube videos is much more creatively fulfilling. It feels much more, not just creatively, but also personally, because this side, like this whole YouTube thing has really allowed me to put all of my, like I said, it allowed me to, this has been a creative outlet for me to utilize all of my different talents. And I don't think I'm good at, I don't necessarily feel like I'm amazing at anything that I do, but I feel like I'm good enough at the things that I am good at to feel confident enough in making this stuff and feel satisfied whenever I make a video that particularly resonates, not just with you guys, the viewers, but also for me. God, I'm really going on a tangent here, but basically working on these videos has been just an incredible creative a creative experience for me. But now other opportunities are opening up for me, mostly like small side gigs or whatever, but these are very exciting small side gigs. So I want to kind of put more of my focus on those efforts. And I didn't want to say my heart's not all in the review show anymore, because I don't want to give people the impression that I don't care, because I really do care. I wouldn't make a video unless I would only really make any video if I genuinely cared about it. And, you know, I've always been mindful of keeping your interests in mind. Because like, even though like I put out a quick review of the Marvel special Werewolf by Night a long time ago, and not a lot of people watched it, but my heart was really in it because I just really wanted to talk about it. And not a lot of you, but there was a percentage of you that was really interested in hearing what I had to say about it. So I'm very grateful for that, because I've always been the believer of if whether one person or 1,000 people are watching you, then just no matter how many people are watching you, just always do the best you can for that person or those people. Because if they're watching you for a reason, and you have to give them a reason to keep watching you. You have to make them feel like they're not wasting your time watching you. You have to give them something valuable. and something worthwhile. And that's all I've ever tried to do, and that's all I'm going to continue doing until I get to the goal that I set for myself. And I decide, I've done everything I wanted to do, it's time to move on. So even though my interests are shifting, and even though I feel a little more ready to move on to other things, I'm still in this, and I've still got a lot of videos to put out. So no matter what's happened to me in the past, or no matter what might happen to me in the future, right now I'm just going to keep focusing on the one thing I know that I'm competent in, and that's making videos. And they might take a little longer to come out because of other things that have been going on in my life, but I'm still actively working on them, and I'm going to do everything I can to make this last bunch of videos the best possible stuff, because I feel like I owe it to you. And if I'm going to wrap up, I have to make it exciting for myself, because every single video needs to have something exciting to get me to want to make it. Because there have been times where sometimes I would feel like I'm only making a certain video out of obligation, no matter how excited I am about the initial idea. And if I ever get to the point where just every video I make is just out of obligation and not because I want to make it, then there's really no point. So that's why I really want to focus on topics that I really, really want to cover. And I don't ever want to give the impression that I don't care anymore, because I absolutely do. And yeah, so for the record, I'm not going away just yet, which might be disappointing to some of you, but hey, if you don't like me, then just don't watch. And I'm sure you have so many other better things to focus on. But I do, as much as I appreciate your attention, if you really don't care about me, then there are plenty of other options. So, yeah. Okay. That was a weird note to end things on, but I think I've said pretty much everything I wanted to say. But it is interesting, though, that, like, reflecting on this, I realized, and sometimes I even forget about this, that even though I've been making videos as kind of like a paid gig, sort of like a part-time job for almost 10 years now, getting into this career specifically was never really an intention. Like, I love game reviews, and I love like review content, and I love those kinds of videos. But I only really wanted to get into this kind of content, or making this kind of content, because I just thought it'd be fun. Like 2015, that was the 30th anniversary year for Super Mario, and I wanted to celebrate by just playing and reviewing all the mainline Mario games. And I feel like I kind of stumbled my way into a career as a part-time job, because it doesn't pay much. But I feel like I stumbled my way into like a game review career, and that's not all I really want to be known for. There's so many other things that I would rather be known for. But this is still something that I'm very proud of. Obviously, it hasn't always been easy. I've had to do a lot of self-reflection and really evaluate what kind of person I really want to be. But I'm still incredibly grateful to all the people that I've gotten to work with over the years, and all the viewers that I've met in person at conventions and stuff, and just all the people I've interacted with, and all the people that have looked up to me. Like, I really try not to have an ego about these things, but it's been so humbling and gratifying and incredible to have gotten the opportunities that I've had through just these game reviews. Keep in mind, when I started making these videos, I was 17, and now I'm 27. A lot has changed in that time. I've changed, and the online landscape has changed, and sometimes I don't really feel I belong in that landscape, just based on the kind of stuff that I want to do. But the legacy that I've created is weird, to say the least. I really don't think about this a lot, but I really, all I just think about is the people that I've impacted, and whether you've been watching me for years or whether you stopped watching me at any time throughout these past 10 years. Well, I don't know if they're going to be watching this, but if they somehow stumble across this video, like if somebody who stopped watching me a while ago just suddenly, for some reason, thinks about me again and comes back here to see how I'm doing, watches this video, I hope that they're living I hope that they're doing well. And if they are watching, I just want to say thank you. Even if you're not watching me anymore, I'm still very appreciative of the time that you have given me. And I'm appreciative of everybody who comes to my videos and gives up a certain amount of time to just invest themselves in my content. It's truly incredible, and I really don't know what to say except thank you. Actually, though, speaking of thank yous, I do want to give a very special thank you, obviously, to my superstar supporters, Red Rack, Henry Newman, and Jake Winans. You guys are among the reasons why I continue making videos and why I still love making them. But obviously, I'm not just in this for the money. The money's nice, although it's not much. I have other sources of income. This is just one of them, like, even though it's not much. But anyway, the money is irrelevant when it comes to this for me, because really, the most satisfaction I get from making YouTube videos, and the only real satisfaction I'll continue to get from making these, is the reactions from the viewers, whether positive or negative. Although I really try to focus on the positive more, because I don't know. I'm not good with confrontation. I'll just be honest right now, but I'm getting too personal. But any reactions I get are interesting and satisfying, because it shows that people care a little bit about what I have to say and what I'm doing. But now I'm just kind of going off on a tangent, so I'll just say it again. Thank you, everybody, for watching my videos over these past 10 years, and I can assure you that whether you care or not, this last bunch of videos that I'm going to be putting out, I'm going to try to make them the best I've ever done. Even if it takes a little longer for them to come out, I promise you're still going to get some better videos. And hopefully you'll enjoy them. And if not, then hopefully somebody else will. I don't know where I'm going with this. But yeah, that's my plan. I'm not going away tomorrow. I have a long way to go before I actually get to that point, but I'm going to try and make it as fun and as entertaining as possible. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope to see you again next time. And until then, this is Mark bidding you all a smashing farewell. Be good, behave, be safe, and I'll see you later. Bye.